Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Between the Lines. My name is John Lofton. I'm so glad you're able to join us today. I do apologize for the technical difficulties. I thought I was past all of that, but apparently the camera saw my new bald head and it was just like, no, not today. And then I was like, I can have a bald head if I choose. So you'll just have to shoot it anyway. So it took a couple restarts here, and I'll probably end up submitting a support ticket here, but whatever, we're live. And these things happen, so why we're still in beta. However, do have some cool announcements here before we get started in today's show. We are going to be actually live officially next week and currently on the new Between the Lines channel on YouTube. And so I hope you guys will tune in and subscribe to that and give it a like and subscribe, all the good comments. I need a few. I don't got very many. It's brand new. I literally posted it public just the other day. So I need the subscribers. I need you to tell your friends because we're going to be doing some really cool stuff here. Technology aside and live streaming stuff aside, we're going to be doing some really awesome stuff coming in here over the summer, getting out of beta finally, assuming these technical issues can be resolved. And then we're going to be kind of moving into everything. But currently we are on live on my own. If you're friends with me on Facebook, we're live there. And then we're live on the Lofton Space YouTube channel currently right now. And so that's going to be really awesome to try to do that. And I'm wondering if that's not my main issue here today. Just kind of dealing with that. But yeah, we are live on both YouTube channels right now, as well as Facebook. So hope you guys will tune in, but going forward, we will not be on the Lofton Space YouTube channel anymore. It will go back to just being for my tech. So anyway, all right, so today's show, here's what we're going to be doing today. This is why I have a producer here. Her name is Raven. She's my wife. And I can't tell. Okay. She just hands me the paper. Oh, I am definitely live. I am 100% live. In person, in the flesh. I was just kind of double checking that here. If you guys are having any technical issues with the stream, let me know. But it does look like I'm live right now. In live video on Facebook, I can do that. On Lofton Space, I am live. It shows me as live here. And I even have a current viewer even on that channel. On the Between the Lines, don't see it yet. Yeah, it just gives me a little bit of a warning here on the audio side. But yeah, are you guys comment if you guys are having any kind of technical issues or anything like that. But looks like I'm live and I've got some viewers, so I think we're gonna go with it. But yeah, if you guys are having any kind of issues, please let me know in the comment section below. But yeah, it definitely looks like I'm live here on my YouTube, on my Facebook here. I'm gonna unpin one post here. And yeah, there we go. So yeah, you guys should definitely be able to see me here, and we should be good to go. All right, getting back into things. Thank you, Producer Raven, for at least trying to help here. All right. So what we're going to be doing today is we're going to be talking about all the COVID-19 vaccine stuff, and you've probably seen a lot the past couple weeks in the news, but they're offering incentives across the nation. Government agencies, state and local employers are offering incentives to their employees, like time off, vacation, things like that, just to get the COVID-19 vaccine. And I've got some serious issues with that. And while I do not try to stay partisan, on any one issue, try to see both sides here, and I will acknowledge both sides' argument to this. But then I'm going to tell you why I think that it is flawed and why it's sort of a bad testament to the people's free will and motivation, and I think that it really is going to infringe on our freedom of being able to just be who we are, right, wrong, or indifferent, and our civil liberties and things like that. So I'm going to talk a lot about that today. I'm going to be talking about misappropriation of government funds, because I'm pretty sure raffling off $1 million just to some random person who got the vaccine with taxpayer money, I'm pretty sure that is definitely misappropriation of taxpayer funds. And yeah, we're going to be talking about that today. So stick around. If you got a thought on this too, I would love to share, your thoughts and everything like that. So where this kind of got to me, it kind of hit a subject here because, so for me, way back in January, and actually kind of getting into February, March, all of that, right when I was getting ready to be evaluated for the kidney transplant list, one of the requirements that I had was I had to be vaccinated. So I had both series of the Pfizer vaccine. I was able to get mine about a couple weeks before the general public was. I was still in the, chronic condition sort of things like that here in Iowa. But I was able to get an appointment. Back then it was really, really hard to get an appointment. Now it's stupid easy to get one. Just walk into a pharmacy and be like, hey, I want the COVID vaccine. And they're like, sure, here you go. Back then it was, getting up and at like 7 a.m. I saw a lot of them refresh. Some even refreshed at midnight. People were like just constantly refreshing the page. It felt like trying to get tickets to a Garth Brooks concert. It was that kind of crazy back then. And now we have them abundantly. A lot of counties in Iowa aren't even requesting a full supply, if at all, any new additional inventory for their COVID supplies. And that's, I think, starting to say where, okay, this is the amount of people who are going to be actively willing to get the COVID-19 vaccine. And then the rest people may get it, may not. And this whole push for 70% or 75%, what they called herd immunity, like we're cattle, doesn't really seem obtainable. And I don't know, I've wanted to go and look, and I kind of ran out of time here, but I had this thought right before the show. I kind of wonder what the percentage of the population is that actually gets the flu vaccine. And if you guys remember, we had the H1N1 thing. It was a brand new variant of the flu virus, and now they've got all kinds of different variants. They try to base off the Australian flu season, and to try to figure out what we're going to need for our vaccine season. Since our seasons are kind of opposite from each other. And so that was the one thing I was kind of noticing out of all of this. And I just thought, why are we making such a push? Why is it so important to the government specifically? Because a lot of the restrictions and lockdowns and all that were all government mandated, and they feel like they have to get as many people as they can because science says that you have to have 70%, or more people vaccinated or immune from the virus in order for it to not be able to cause different variants and continue to get people sick. Now, as someone who had COVID-19 myself, had what I would describe as symptoms slightly worse than the common flu, but not insurmountable, at least in my case. But I do understand that there's a lot of people in Iowa alone. We've had over 6,000 people, pass away from this virus. And so I acknowledge that it is a threat. But I also would argue that there's a lot of other viruses and, infections and things that make us sick that, that really kind of feel pushed to the side just because of COVID. It almost seems like, from my perspective, it seems like the government's having to work awful hard to make a justification for how we can actually go back to normal because they kind of opened up Pandora's box when they started shutting everything down last year. And so when you have those different factors in place, I guess it kind of makes sense why the government would be incentivized to incentivize its people to do the thing that it says needs to happen so that we can go back to a normal life. And it did feel weird today. I did go ahead and go into a grocery store and to get some stuff after church today, and I did not wear a mask because, well, one, I'm vaccinated, but at number two, I kind of felt like I should because of my immunocompromise now that I'm on anti-rejection meds. But the other thing is I was thinking about this. So from my understanding of the masks and all of that, the mask keeps others safe from me if I'm wearing it, but it does not protect me from others who are not wearing a mask themselves. because the idea is that the aerosol particles can't travel as far if you're wearing a mask. Now, at my job, they have relaxed the mask mandate some, as in, like, when we're at our desk, we can take our mask off. That used to be, didn't matter where you were, if you were in the building, you had to wear a mask. Now they kind of relaxed it, but now if we're moving about in common spaces, you have to wear a mask. So it's gotten a little bit interesting there, but nevertheless, it's still there, and so wearing a mask is still a part of my daily life. And it probably should be, because the transplant team was telling me, yeah, you're going to have to wear a mask. And people who get vaccinated while on immunosuppressants, they're finding that they're not really making any antibodies as a result of actually receiving the vaccine, because of the immunocompromised, nature of what, they're having to do is they stay alive. So for them, it's almost kind of like not getting a vaccine. But yet they're pushing at it even for people who had been, who were on immunosuppressants. They're really pushing it. And now we're finding out that, oh, well, it didn't really do any good, did it? Because those are the people still being able to get sick. And I realize that this is a smaller portion of the population, but still, you think about the number of people who are alive. If I think about my dad, I think about our grandparents and things like that who don't have the best immune system. There's still millions of people in this country who do not have the best immune system, and therefore, even if they were vaccinated, could still contract COVID-19. But for the rest of everybody, if you've been vaccinated, you don't have to wear a mask. But if you haven't, you still have to wear a mask, which brings me now to my second point. So because we have a mixed population of people wearing masks, some are, some aren't, and I'll start even at the local level in schools. There are schools where they can't mandate the kids to wear masks. So other kids who are wearing a mask get bullied. And literally, I've heard stories of masks just being yanked off the kids, just to make fun of them for wearing a mask. And of course, that's not right. If you're wearing a mask for your own protection, you feel better about wearing a mask, and it brings you that peace of mind, and that then you shouldn't have to face that type of bullying. But it almost feels like a peer pressure in society as adults too, I feel like. And so that's sort of an incentive, if you will, for how the government's kind of using this virus. I feel like when the CDC said, if you're vaccinated and you've had both courses or the J&J and plus the 14-day period afterwards, then now you don't have to wear a mask in most situations. But for those people who are not vaccinated, you still got to wear a mask. So if you actually adhere to that, then you're basically a visual target to somebody who most people would say hasn't been vaccinated. However, look at me. I've been vaccinated, technically speaking. I'm just on immunosuppressants now, so I'll wear a mask in some situations, but I'm also starting to realize that why? No one else is, and this mask doesn't protect me from you, so what's the point here? And I brought that up to my nurse, and then she said, yeah, we're still figuring out on the guidance on that. And I said, if it wasn't COVID and you had, just a normal patient coming out of a kidney transplant, I asked, would you still have them wear a mask? Was that a recommendation after, a transplant? And she said no. Then why is it a recommendation now? Because there's 100 ways that I could die from a bacterial viral infection because of a weakened immune system. Why is COVID-19 so gosh darn important and so much more deadly than anything else? I get if I had a tick bite and it stayed and I got Lyme disease, okay, that can kill me too. There's plenty of ticks outside my backyard, trust me. So how is this any worse? And I realize that this is all coming from a personal perspective, and I'm not claiming to be an expert. And I'm going to make that disclaimer right now very clear. I am not an expert, but I want to reach people who are also thinking like I am. Like, we're doing all of this to get people who don't want a vaccine vaccinated, because we feel like if we did, then society as a whole is going to be much better. But yet there's still millions of people, regardless of if they got a vaccine or not, that are always going to be vulnerable to not only COVID, but to others. We never got an incentive to get the flu shot, really. What, you go to Hy-Vee or whatever, and they give you a discount on gas or something, right? Okay, fine, sort of an incentive, but there's not really this wide push. They mention it a few times in the fall to go get your vaccine, blah, 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 but then it's it. This has been an all-out effort. And it just, if you're like me, you start to think that, is there really an underlying reason to all of this? Is there some other reason that we're really pushing to get everybody vaccinated? Why are we taking taxpayer money and giving it away to some random person just because they got vaccinated? Why are major league sports parks trying to vaccinate people in their parking lot and then offering free tickets? Why is there the NFL big game? I can't say it legally because it's copyrighted. Cheeky NFLs. Anyway, but why are we giving away the big game tickets? Why? Because I feel like someone dug a hole, and this is the only way politically and without creating a huge uproar that we feel like we can get out of it. That's why. I don't get it. Yes, I understand. Thousands upon thousands of people have died from this. I get it. But thousands upon thousands of people die every year from cancer. Thousands of people die in Africa from malaria. Okay? This is not, in my opinion, the time where we have to be doing this. It's just one of those things where if you as a private entity, fine, if you want to give away the big game tickets or promote it, fine, you're a private thing. But I'm got to draw the line when it comes to the government giving away incentives, and then putting rules in place that clearly make a distinction or attempting to give the visual optics that because this person wears a mask, they must not be vaccinated and have to have these restrictions. Because you didn't do this, you're not going to get a $10 gift card to some store. You're not going to be able to get a free donut now because you didn't get vaccinated. Tell me why we're doing this to people. We are crossing a line, I feel, where it's getting very close to starting to feel like we are shaming people just because they do not want to get the COVID-19 vaccine. I will tell you that both my wife and I have been vaccinated, and I may consider getting our son vaccinated. Why? Because I do believe the science that it is safe. I'm not convinced about its effectiveness for normal people yet, and its longevity to be effective. Like, how long is it good for before you're going to have to get boosters, We don't know that. And I really would like to know that before really fully committing. And in my case, though, I didn't really have the choice. If I wanted a kidney, I was going to have to get vaccinated. That was a requirement of the transplant center. So, like it or not, I rolled up my sleeve and got the shot. And I was going to do something here just for fun, just to lighten it up before I dive even more. And I forgot to ask my producer to bring me down a small magnet from our refrigerator. If you guys know where I'm going with this, then feel free to laugh along. But I wanted to try an experiment that's been going around on the internet. And I'm going to come back to that here in a second so she can run up and grab that magnet off of our fridge. But I wanted to show you guys or illustrate something. But kind of going back into things, I guess, a little bit here. And what about the people that got vaccinated right away, early on? The seniors, the frontline workers, all of that. Are they eligible for any of these incentives? Is it just the people who got vaccinated after this? I don't know all the rules on everything, and every little raffle, every little thing that jurisdictions are doing is different. So I can't say 100% for certain that those people wouldn't be included, but I don't think they're being included in all of them. And there hasn't been a clear illustration made public by the news media as to whether or not these people are going to be able to qualify for these raffles and money and giveaways and things like that. But you're trying to you're trying to target people like, I don't know, I got some aunts and uncles maybe that wouldn't want to necessarily get vaccinated. I've got friends that I know aren't really crazy about getting vaccinated. It's not because they don't want to be healthy or they don't believe COVID-19 exists. It's because, they just don't want to. I got another friend of mine who is a home health remedy kind of person. And, oh, this is funny. The magnet she gave me from the same hospital that I went to. That's funny. So we'll get to that in a second. But yeah, she believes in like home remedies and things like that. And so she doesn't want to do vaccinations. She would rather do plant-based stuff. She would rather do, holistic type medicine stuff. And that's good for her. That's her choice. I don't necessarily agree with it. I mean, it's not the way I would necessarily go to be treated. But you know what? That's the beauty. But people like her are going to be outcast because they didn't want to do something the government said that they should do. And that society is starting to rally around that, oh, you didn't do this, shame on you kind of thing. And don't you want to have some money? Don't you want this gift card? Don't you want this free stuff? Don't you want a chance to win $1 million? Come on, get vaccinated. It won't take long. Just roll up your sleeve. Just roll it up. Yeah, it'll be fine. You'll be sick for a day or two and maybe throw up, but it'll be fine. Just get the vaccine, right? Yeah. Come on. Wake up, people. I don't know why this agenda has to exist. Why we can't just accept that people aren't going to get vaccinated and realize that we can't keep our country shut down for years upon years. We couldn't have really afforded to keep it down for as long as we did. And you know what's happened now? Now that things are opening up and a lot of people didn't end up spending that stimulus money that we got. We have restaurants and stuff who can't staff. We have other businesses who are looking to hire people. I've never seen a dishwasher. There was a story I was reading where they were making $20 an hour to bus tables. I do not make $20 an hour where I work. I wish I did. But that's what we're at, folks, because we kept everything down so long and we gave people help who probably could have been just fine without it. And I'm not saying we shouldn't have helped folks, but it shouldn't be the government trying to lead this effort. It should be a nonpartisan thing. But the problem is we have the Centers for Disease Control, and they're, quote unquote, the authority on public health matters. So it's their driving this that drives the president administration to further incentivize, which then trickles down to your state and local governments, depending on kind of what side of the aisle that they tend to lean on. My point with all this, folks, is we really should not have to be incentivizing people. Get the vaccine if you want it. Don't get it if you don't want it. Plain and simple. And then wait a little while if you feel better. But at the end of the day, if you're going to remove mask restrictions, don't discriminate against somebody because they did or did not get the vaccine. If you're going to lift those restrictions, just lift them. And that's what we're going to be at. You can't tell somebody they have to do something because they didn't do what you wanted to, that went against their freedom to decide what's best for their health. And really, all along, we shouldn't have had the mask mandate, if you ask my opinion. I'm not saying masks don't work. They work in the right circumstances. We went down the path where the government did mandate it as a public health emergency. So that's where we ended up. But at the end of the day, if you're going to back it off, you can't back it off for some and not others. That's not fair. It's not right. And it's not right to offer incentives to some without being incentives to all, regardless of when or how you got your vaccine. We don't need vaccine passports. You shouldn't have to quarantine just because you went from, Iowa to California and then back again. It's sort of like you're just shaming someone because they traveled. It doesn't make sense at all. And so my point with all of this is there is a growing separation where the people who aren't going to align with the current administration or current governmental policies are really going to start become victimized because they're going to be shamed on. They're not going to be able to do the same things as those who chose to be vaccinated are. I had the CDC card. I thought it was just for an appointment reminder. So when I got my second one, I threw it away. And my wife's like, no, you should have held on to it. And I'm like, why? So I can get a free donut at a donut shop that's offering that right now? Why? So I can go and win some raffle when I was going to get the vaccine anyway? Give me a break. And then if that's going to be a requirement, like if I eventually can't go somewhere if I don't have that CDC card, I guess I'm just SOL. What am I going to do, right? What can I possibly do now differently? Nothing. I believe that everybody has personal responsibility. And everybody should be able to decide for themselves, what's best for them, their family, and all of that. What's best for all of their health. And it shouldn't come down to, what the government says and the government spending our taxpayer dollars just to try to convince somebody to get something that they really don't want. You shouldn't be pressuring people into doing this. There's commercials and PSAs upon PSAs telling everybody to get a shot. And I'm pretty sure the people who want a shot are already going to get one. Leave it at that. If this is the end of the pandemic and we're finally getting to that good place, so be it. I'm not against science. I'm not against the vaccine in general. I'm just against putting things in such a way that start to shame people who, for their own reasons, decided not to do something. So this little video has been going around where people, and look it up, I guess COVID Magnet Challenge, I think is what it's called, where there was a sort of like this friendish theory that we were all being microchipped or something like that. And so people were trying to claim that a magnet would stick to the area where they got their COVID vaccine at. And it was supposed to be proof that we're all being chipped. So I thought, well, this is a bunch of bull crap. I'm going to try it. So the first thing I'm going to do, I was vaccinated. Both mine were on my left side. My over here. This might be your right. Sorry if it is. I hate the way my camera orients. Sometimes I need to figure that part out a little bit. But anyway, so I was vaccinated over here. So I'm going to put the magnet, first of all, I'm going to roll up my arm here. Sorry, it's white. If you're just like totally blinded right now, it's because I don't see the daylight very much. So we're going to try this. And I shouldn't have wore such a tight shirt too. I didn't rehearse this either. This is the first time I've even attempting this. All right. Oh. Oh. Oh, goodness. Okay, that was the side I was not vaccinated on. Now, let's go to the side I was vaccinated on. Now, it's been a while. I don't know. Maybe if we're chipped, maybe it just goes deeper in your arm. Maybe. This is a whole lot better, at least, than the Tide Pod challenge. Remember that? A whole lot safer. All right, so nope. Oh, sorry, I just hit my mic. Here, I'll even push just to try to get to grab that dang microchip is hard. No, I'm not really. Oops. Well, I guess I didn't get chipped. I did get sick afterwards, but, hey. Well, I think that's going to do it here today, folks. I hope you enjoyed today's show. It was definitely fun to kind of prep and get to rant out a little bit. I hope you saw some value into what I was saying. Regardless, if you do believe everybody needs to be vaccinated, if it takes incentives to do that, hey, great. But I hope you would agree with me that it shouldn't come from our government. Our government should not be in the business of raffling off money and prizes to its citizens just to get a shot. I don't really feel like we should be in that business to randomly just give away the money that we're all paying in taxes. So that is my 2 cents here. But anyway, all right. So here we go again. Next week, we're going to be live on Between the Lines, the official YouTube channel, 4 p.m. on Sunday. Please make sure you like and subscribe to that channel and comment below, and we'll share your thoughts. As always, take care, guys. We'll see ya.